Cash out, it can help you grow, or it can crush your monthly cash flow. Hey there, welcome to Mortgage Tips and Bacon Bits. I'm Sean Segaloff. If you find this information helpful, don't forget to click like and click subscribe. I really do appreciate it. So first thing, what is a cash-out refinance of DSCR property? It's really simple. You're refinancing the mortgage and you're pulling out equity. Now, you could be doing this through pulling out equity by refinancing, or maybe you're putting a loan in second position. Either way, you're pulling out equity. So that's the simplest definition of what a cash-out is you're pulling cash out of the property. Now, you need to make sure that when you're doing this, you have good reasons. Because here's the thing. If you're using it to purchase another property, good reason. You're using it for upgrades or maintenance, good reason. You're using it to buy things that may not be business related. You want that new Ferrari or something like that. That's something you may have to think about, because remember, when you're pulling money out, that's going to affect your cash flow. Because remember, when we're looking at a DSCR, we're looking at ratios. We're looking at what is the principal, the interest, the taxes, the insurance, and if there is one, an association fee, versus what is the income producing. So now when you're pulling cash out, that principal and interest is going up, is going to be higher, which means you may not have that ratio. You still may have a loan and may not be a problem getting done, but your interest rate may be higher. And now your principal and interest is higher again. So you want to make sure that things are going to cash flow and then it makes sense, and you're not just pulling it out for expenses that really should be financed in other ways, not using your property. You know, and that's really where people get burned. They get burned when they're looking at a DSCR and they're saying, oh, what's the most I can pull out, without having a good plan for that money they're pulling out. Don't take out money just for the sake of taking out money. It just doesn't make sense. And I'm a loan officer, and I'm telling you not to do it, which, I mean, the only way I get paid is when you do loans. So if I'm telling you not to do it, if it doesn't make sense, it really means it doesn't make sense. So this is called Mortgage Tips and Bacon Bits. So of course I got to drop some bacon bits in here. So my bacon bit is this. Let's talk about bacon bits themselves. You can buy them off the store shelves. There's plenty of different blends and pieces and bacon bits, and you can read the ingredients in some of them, and Gewalt. My suggestion is take a couple pieces of bacon, cook them. You know, if you have to throw it in the microwave, although I really don't recommend that, but that'll be a different bacon bit. Cook them, chop them up, use fresh bacon when you need bacon bits. That is my advice. So that's your bacon bit. Now back to mortgage advice, or mortgage information, I guess, not really advice. Prepayment penalty. So gotta remember, when you're dealing with a DSCR, you're typically going to have a prepayment penalty. Now, not all the time, but say, you know, why would I want a prepayment penalty? If you're comfortable with your cash flow, a prepayment penalty can get you a better interest rate. So remember that, you know, if you do a 2 or 3 year prepayment penalty, you can get a better interest rate. And there's options to get out of it. Some of them have, you know, you have to pay 6 months of interest. Some of them have a percent fee. There's ways to get out of a loan that has a prepayment penalty when it makes sense for you to get out. But again, you want to make sure that, you know, it makes sense. Because again, if you're getting to a loan with a prepayment penalty and then you're looking to pull cash out, so now you're just paying off your prepayment penalty to go to another, are you really doing the right thing? And that's what you want to make sure you're looking at. You know, and timing also matters, because you got to remember, a lot of lenders, if you just got the property, they're not too quick to want to give you cash out because they want to understand why. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some lenders that have no seasoning requirements, but they want to make sure that you're not just maximizing everything from there and draining everything out of the property, because that shows them a risk. You know, and one of the things they're going to look at is this your first property? Is this your first time doing this? Do you have experience? Those are things that, you know, there are lenders that work with first-time people doing DSCRs, and there are lenders that say, okay, we're looking for a little more experience, or if you don't have experience, you know, rate's going to be a little higher because we have a little more risk here. We want to make sure that we see that you're capable of doing this, and then we can trust you a little more in the next one. It's kind of like, you know, giving your kid the car keys and saying, okay, I'm trusting you to go to the store at 1 o'clock on a Saturday until you earn the privilege to use it at 8 o'clock at night on a Saturday. So, you know, that's kind of where those things different. You know, it's simple rule when it comes to proving cash out. You know, it's pretty plain and simple. It's got to be for a good reason. And does the payment still work? Because at the end of the day, are you looking at cash flow? Now, you may not be looking at cash flow. There are properties that barely cash flow or don't really cash flow that you're doing it for equity. In certain parts of the country, properties aren't really going to cash flow. The home values are that expensive, but you're going to cover your expenses, and then you're going to see appreciation in the property, and that's why you're doing it. Not everyone's doing it because, I'm going to get extra $5,000, $500, $100, whatever, $2,000 per month. Some people are saying, hey, I just want to break even because I know in this area, these properties are hot. I know these properties appreciate, and I'm looking at over time that I'm covering my expenses and I'm growing equity. So that's another strategy when it comes to DSCR. If you want to talk about this or any other mortgage questions or information, there's a link to my calendar in the description below. But don't forget, I really do appreciate you watching. If you could do me one huge favor, anyone that you know that might find this useful, share this with them. And please don't forget to hit subscribe. Because mortgages, they shouldn't be complicated. They just need to be explained clearly.